How touchscreens detect your finger. A touchscreen is a flat display that can sense where you touch it. It looks like a single piece of glass. But underneath that glass is an entire sensing system. Most modern phones, tablets, and laptops use a capacitive touchscreen. This type of screen does not rely on pressure. Instead, it relies on electricity. To understand how this works, start with the layers of the screen. At the very top is a protective glass layer. This glass is hard, transparent, and electrically insulating. Directly beneath the glass is the touch sensor layer. This layer contains a grid of extremely thin, transparent electrodes. They are usually made from a material called indium tin oxide. This material conducts electricity, but still lets light pass through. The electrodes are arranged in rows and columns. Together, they form a grid that covers the entire screen area. Each crossing point in this grid acts as a tiny sensor. When the screen is on, a weak electric field exists across this grid. This field is stable and predictable when nothing touches the screen. Every point has a known electrical value. Your finger plays a key role here. The human body conducts electricity slightly. This is because it contains water and dissolved salts. When your finger approaches the glass, it begins to interact with the electric field. You do not need to apply pressure. Just being close is enough. The important concept is capacitance. Capacitance is the ability of a system to store an electrical charge. Each point on the touchscreen has a baseline capacitance value. When your finger touches the glass, it draws a tiny amount of electrical charge toward itself. This slightly disrupts the electric field. As a result, the capacitance at that location changes. This change is extremely small. You cannot feel it, but the electronics can measure it very precisely. A dedicated chip inside the device is responsible for this. It is called the touchscreen controller. Its only job is to monitor the electrode grid. The controller continuously sends signals through the rows and columns. It measures how much charge each electrode can hold. It compares these measurements to the baseline values. When a change is detected, the controller knows that a touch has occurred. By looking at which row and which column changed, it can calculate the exact position of the touch. This scanning process happens many times per second, often hundreds of times per second. That speed allows the screen to track movement smoothly. When you drag your finger, the controller sees a series of changing positions. The software connects those positions into a motion. That is how scrolling and swiping work. Capacitive touchscreens can also detect more than one finger. This is known as multi-touch. Each finger causes its own local change in capacitance. The controller can distinguish these changes separately. It tracks multiple touch points at the same time. The operating system then interprets their movement. This is how pinch-to-zoom works. The software measures the distance between two touch points. If the distance increases, it zooms out. If the distance decreases, it zooms in. Capacitive screens do not measure force. They do not know how hard you press. They only know that a conductive object is present. That is why pressing harder does not make the screen respond more. It is also why very light touches still work. This principle also explains why gloves often fail. Most gloves are electrically insulating. They do not interact with the electric field. Some gloves are touchscreen compatible. They contain conductive fibers in the fingertips. These fibers allow charge to move, just like a finger. Styluses for capacitive screens work the same way. They are made from conductive rubber or metal. They spread the electrical interaction over a small area. This makes the screen think a finger is present. Older touchscreens work differently. They are called resistive touchscreens. They use two thin layers that physically touched when pressed. When pressure pushed the layers together, an electrical connection was made. The device detected that connection as a touch. Resistive screens work with any object, a finger, a pen, or even a glove, but they are less accurate. They also wear out faster due to physical contact. Capacitive screens have no moving parts. This makes them more durable. They are also more precise. There is one more important detail. Touchscreens do not work alone. The touch controller sends touch data to the operating system. The operating system decides what the touch means. A tap, a swipe, a long press, or a gesture. Apps then receive this information. They respond based on their own rules. The touchscreen only reports coordinates and timing. Everything else is software interpretation. In short, a touchscreen is always scanning. It maintains an invisible electric field. Your finger briefly disturbs that field. Electronics detect the disturbance. Software turns it into interaction. That's it. Did you already know this is how it works? Did something surprise you? Or would you like to know how something else works? Let me know in the comments. If you like my way of explaining, don't forget to like and subscribe. This will really help me and the channel to grow. Thanks for watching. Till next time.